The words affected and affected are often confused, even by native speakers. They sound almost identical, but they have different meanings. To affect something means to have an impact or an influence on it. For example, the government's announcement affected our plans for expansion. To effect means to cause something to happen or to bring something about. For example, she effected change in the organisation at every level. But what about the pronunciation? Well, as I said, these words are almost identical. They're virtually homophones, meaning the same pronunciation but different spellings. So in this case, we have one small difference in pronunciation, and it's that initial vowel sound. Try saying these after me. Affected, affected. And the second one, affected, affected. If you can't hear the difference or don't feel like you're making a different sound with that first vowel, don't worry. In fact, the important thing when you're pronouncing these words, when you're speaking, is to make sure that you put the stress on the second syllable. Affected, affected. These words both have stress on the second syllable, so you need to make that one a bit longer and a bit louder. And the final syllable, which has that ED spelling, is pronounced as a third syllable, which isn't always the case, is it, with a final ED? But in this case, you have tid at the end as a final syllable. So the first syllable in both cases is weak. You make it quieter and shorter, and that's why it doesn't really matter if you don't get precisely the right vowel sound at the start of these words. What you do need to focus on to make sure you're being clearly understood is getting that stress on the second syllable and make sure that you pronounce that third syllable. So try saying these after me. Affected, affected. And the second one, affected, affected. These words are almost homophones. It is important, however, when you use them in writing, that you pick the correct version of this verb.